Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Shadow Monarch solo leveling class mod build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a new one that's now available also on consoles, made by Archangel 820 here. This is a little bit different from the other solo leveling class mod that we previously got. Now the mod author is currently recovering from surgery, so they're planning on an update to update this class, but for the time being I'll be covering all the different abilities here and giving a little note on what may change. Now for this class, you get the ability to do some sneak attacks, which is pretty cool. Attack an advantage foe you get advantage against. You also get the will to recover bonus action healing. You get the guidance cantrip, and you also get the Fey ancestry. Can't be put to sleep. Advantage in saving throw against being charmed. Immune to poison. Can't be poisoned or diseased. And you can also see in the dark up to 24 meters. Now we get to pick some cantrips, obviously getting some of the most powerful ones in the game with Eldritch Blast and Booming Blade. I'd also recommend grabbing Mage Hands. It fits kind of thematically here for a Sung Jin-woo kind of build. We're also going to be grabbing the shield spell, and I like to have magic missile as well. For the fighting style, I'd recommend grabbing defense for the +1 to your armor class. Now you may need to toggle if you're on console, your +1, +2, you may have to swap them around at least once, and also you may have to apply your skill proficiency. So for this, as for ability scores, you can actually get your dexterity up to 19 here. Your strength and dex are going to be boosted up a little bit, so that's kind of nice because you're going to have at minimum 12 strength. So what you can do to this is take the hags here on your dexterity. We'll also all have the constitution here, and charisma at 16 is their spellcasting modifier. Skill proficiencies you get a lot. I'd recommend having persuasion, intimidation, acrobatics, and this is a good one you can also double up on because acrobatics will prevent you from being shoved, which is extremely useful. Sleight of hand and stealth are good too. Level 2 gives you increased critical hit chance. You get Quicksilver, which is basically free Misty Step, and you get Rush, Action Surge. Obviously, this class is becoming a bit powerful, so you can use the Tactician Enhanced skill to apply that. We also get Mage Armor here, which is nice, and False Life gives you some more survivability. And we get a feat at level 2, and with this, I'd recommend probably boosting up your Dexterity. You could also go with the 1-2 bonus here, Dexterity, Charisma, or Constitution, take those both up a bit, or the Alert feat, because +5 to Initiative is also really great. Into level 3, you get an extra bonus action. You get resistance to fall damage. You get invisibility. You get Cloud of Daggers, and you get to take 2 level 2 spells with Hold Person, Ink, Scorching Ray being really good choices there. We also at level 4 get to take another cantrip. With Friends can actually be good if you face the party, or Minor Illusion. As for the spell that we'll be grabbing, Darkness just makes sense thematically here, and Mirror Image can increase our armor class by 9. And for the feat that will be taken, we can go ahead here with that boost to our Constitution and our Dexterity. And also Savage Attacker works well because we get that extra attack at level 5. We also get Conjure Barrage, which is really early to get that spell. Ruler's Authority, which is basically the telekinesis spell. And you get the Shadow Extraction Shadow Hound, which gives you a Shadow Hound. You must cast this on a body. Now, this is something you can continually keep casting. You can make an infinite number of them. So just a heads up there, that becomes obviously very overpowered very quickly. We get level access level 3 spells with Counterspell, Hunger Vidar being a good choice, or Fireball, depending on your preference for overall damage. Haste also being a great spell that will take it next level. We get the Aura of Terra here, giving enemies disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throw while in your presence. You also get a 1d10 bonus to your ability checks with the Dark One's own luck. And then we can take our Haste and Hunger Vidar here. For the level 6 feat that we'll grab, we'll probably go with the Savage Attacker here to boost our overall physical damage against enemies. I think that's a good choice. Level 7 gives us the reliable talent, giving us the lowest we can roll in a skill we're not proficient in is a 10. We also get the Shadow Extraction, Shadow Knight. Again, infinite number of these. Don't abuse them because it will make your game lag or potentially crash. Level 4 gives us, we get access to level 4 spells. I think Greater Invisibility being a great spell. Animate Dead just fits thematically here, so we'll grab that one as well. Level 8 gives us the Mutilation ones. Prolonged Rest. You can turn an attack roll into a critical hit. Obviously, don't explain how powerful that gets. Ever's Black Tentacles and Fear being 2 other good spells. And at this point, I think it's good to boost up our Charisma to 18. Now, once we get ourselves up to level 9 here, we then get Aura of Murder, make enemies vulnerable to piercing damage unless they're resistant or immune to it until long rest. Pretty crazy. We also get Conjure Elemental and Hold Monster, which are 2 really good spells to have. Level 10 gives us our level 4 spells. Fiendish Resilience, you can pick an elemental damage type and become resistant to it. We also have the Shadow Extraction Mage, which will give you a mage that can summon to fight alongside you. Must cast on a body. We'll grab Bone Chills or Cantrip there. And for spells, Cloud Kill can be nice if you have a teammate that has Hero's Feast, so your team won't get hurt by it. Dominate Person fits thematically here, and we'll go with an increase or Charisma, or you can take Heavy Armor Proficiency if you want to be able to get that heavier armor, although I think Medium Armor works better here. Or Caster being another good choice you can go with, and even Spell Sniper if you want. We also then get Advanced Weapon Training, dealing additional 1d8 of force damage on our melee attacks, which is huge. Then we get Chain Lightning, Circle of Death, Sunbeam, some really great level spells. Create Undead also being a good choice too. And level 12 gives us a couple more spells. I guess you can grab the Create Undead. Disintegrate, I guess, fits well. And then for this one, even the Tough Feat gives you increased health, which can be really nice. If you want, you could also go with Great Weapon Master or Sharpshooter. Now, gear doesn't much matter because we're extremely powerful, but I like having the Steel Watcher helmet because this gives you the ability to see in magical darkness. So then we can set it up and then be able to hide out within it, which is great ability. Armor Agility gives us 29 AC, which is absolutely crazy. A Cloak Protection, the Helldust Gloves to give us extra fire damage and spell save DC. And then we also got the Evasive Shoes there for the +1 to armor class. Rings, Killer Sweetheart gives you a critical hit chance, or also Ring of Protection gives you an extra armor class, which is great to have. If you want to, you could also go with the Caustic Band for extra acid damage on your attacks, or you could alternatively add Crusher's Ring for the extra movement speed. Nothing dire that we need. I have Belm equipped. I like having a shield just because the extra armor class is nice. You even throw on something like Nyrulna, which will give you a good extra damage. Although we do need a finesse weapon for our sneak attacks. You could do a ranged sneak attack if you prefer. Obviously, this adds a ton of extra damage, so it's ideal to have a finesse weapon. Fowler or Louvre being an actual finesse weapon you could utilize, but we want to have something with piercing damage because we make the enemies take extra piercing damage. And also, the Dancing Breeds is fun for critical hit or sneak attacks, but it doesn't do piercing damage. Even the Knife of the Undermounted King is an Act 1 item that's extremely powerful here. And then we also get the Hellrider Longbow for that +3 to our initiative. But we deal double damage on piercing, so we don't have to use the ballast armor. We can use the Armor of Agility to give ourselves a very high armor class. I'm also using the AO die from the Faerun colors on it. Now what's funny is we can cast our Shadow Extraction Knights on our teammates, because currently they don't have it so that it's they don't have it working absolutely properly, but this is used on corpses. And I guess here you can see the Shadow Extraction Mage, so we going ahead here to cast this, and it created that Shadow Extraction Mage there, which has a decent bit of healing. You can only have one of these available at a time, and it allows you to cast Fireball, Firebolt. Here you can see the Shadow Magic Dogs, which we can have multiple of. If you just cast on your teammates, you can create an army of dogs that have 57 health each, and they have an attack, which isn't very strong, but it can also frighten targets. Also, you can precast some of your abilities, like popping the Mirror Image there, can give you a 40 armor class, which is obviously pretty powerful. And then you can make yourself resistant to like slashing damage, which you'll likely be encountering with the Fiendish Resilience. So yeah, we have a lot of summons, and you even got that Create Elemental, so I created the Air Myrmidon, which is really strong, but you're going to see here how powerful this class truly is, because we make enemies vulnerable to piercing damage, so we can literally just go up and do our Booming Blade here, or our Sneak Attack. We do have to have advantage, but we have lots of summons to be able to help out with that, and we'll just go here with our free critical hit, boom, exploding with damage, an absolute massive amount of damage. I'll just follow that up with another attack here. We have that Aura of Terror there, which can scare the enemies there, and then we also have Action Surge, which is crazy, but we have lots of great spells too, Chain Lightning obviously being a very powerful one. We could have used something like the Helmet of Arcane Acuity to increase our chance of being able to attack with those. But you can see here we also have our Aura, I guess we have our auras there, but we also got Rush, which will give us that extra action. We have 2 bonus actions too, so if you have an offhand weapon, that can be pretty useful. We also got the Conjure Barrage, which you can see does quite a bit of damage in a huge area of effect as well, so we may as well use that to be able to take out a few more targets and bring more against us. Now we can also be cheeky because we have 2 bonus actions, so we can pop down a Mind Sanctuary and turn our one other bonus action into an actual action. So this is a little bit of a cheesy ability here, but then we can go ahead here with doing another attack like Chain Lightning, which is going to be pretty strong against a lot of the enemies that we'll be facing, and boom, that takes out a couple more of them. So yeah, pretty crazy synergy there. You also have that Quicksilver free teleport, and you can continuously spam this, so try not to abuse that. Obviously there's some powerful abilities. And in come the dogs. They're a little bit of extra chip damage, which is nice. So you can use this, they can go invisible, which is kind of cool because then it gives themselves advantage on their attacks, so they're much more likely to land them. And they also have the Terrifying Howl, which is a huge area of effect, and it doesn't require an action. We now applied fear to a bunch of enemies, and you can spam that. Like if you don't get it, you can just cast it again. So it is pretty overpowered, like a lot of the other abilities here. And then we also have our Air Myrmidon, which is always a really powerful choice because it can teleport around. It also has the Mind Sanctuary there, which is kind of funny because then it can go ahead with utilizing that Electrified Flail twice. So if you don't get the stun on the first attack, you can then go ahead with a second stun and potentially end up, or taking them out entirely. We also got a dog that's invisible again, so we'll go in with our Bite, which is enough to knock them out, or knock them prone with 2 health points left. And we also have the Shadow Mage here, which is one of our summons. And it can drop down some fireballs, which are great. If we can hit 3 targets, and we'll hit our dog, whatever. We have a lot of those there. But the nice thing about it, again, Mind Sanctuary is that means 2 fireballs. They have 3 level 3 spell slots, so it's not a whole lot of them, but yeah, you can get pretty aggressive with them. And then we're back with the ability to cast 4 spells, which is enough to clear off the table here. So we can just go ahead with some of the more simple attacks, like we can do a Scorching Ray there, which is always a good choice for damage. That's enough to probably take out that target. Boom, so that's one down, and then you can follow up with your others. Even have the sneak attacks there, which can be good if we have advantage against the target, and you can also set up advantage with things like the Risky Ring. So you got lots of different options there. Fireball being a pretty offensive spell. I wish I had another Chain Lightning there to be able to cast that, but we have lots of corpses too to be able to use some of these other abilities, so we got lots of choices here. I'm going to go blast away with one of these here. We can't actually hit the faraway target, which is unfortunate, but I should have bonus action that one and then went up, and because now I can't actually do an attack against it. But our Myrmidon has pretty much endless range. Unfortunately, it ate up its bonus. It ate up its action utilizing. I used the Misty Step out of Mind Sanctuary, which ate its action up. And the Skeletal Mage from downtown, going to drop a Fireball, hopefully deal a good bit of damage, brings in some more enemies. Alright, so they only need one more hit to be taken out, so let's go ahead there and miss. Lovely. We'll try that again. Perfect, got a critical hit to make up for it. Now we gotta go back because there's enemies right here, and I'd love to be able to explode that water bottle on them, but I guess we could drop a Hunger Vidar at the edge maybe, or try to drop a Fireball. They're too far away to be able to utilize a bonus action, unfortunately. I guess the upcasted Fireball breaking the water is our only choice. I wish I had that Chain Lightning still, but that was enough to do a good bit of damage. And we can, I guess, clear them off with a Mind Blast. That'll likely finish off the rest of them, and there we go. So that is a powerful solo leveling Shadow Monarch build. Mod made by Archangel 820. This is a lot of fun. I enjoy these kind of builds. A little bit overpowered, so use Tactician Enhance. I also did a video on the top 25 difficulty mods if you want to find one to help out make this a little bit more balanced. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you haven't already, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.